We all know artificial intelligence can and will eventually change the world, but there are some industries where it's already made a huge impact, but you might not know it, like biotech, which brings me to Recursion Pharmaceuticals. That is a small clinical stage biotech company with an AI-fueled tech platform that uses sophisticated machine learning algorithms to help them with new drug discovery and speed it up. Doesn't hurt that Recursion has the most powerful supercomputer in all biopharma, as well as a partnership with Nvidia that included a $50 million investment from the leading AI technology company last summer. Nvidia is now helping them develop a second, even more powerful supercomputer. Of course, look, it's early stage, okay, so we always got to be careful. Their most advanced drug candidates are only in phase 2 trials. Remember, we got to get through phase 3 to make it all work. I'm going to again say it's speculative, but I like this story. I think it's a great story. One that shows us the future of the industry. Do not take it from me. Let's check in with Chris Gibson. He's the co-founder and CEO of Recursion Pharmaceuticals to learn more about what they're doing. Dr. Gibson, welcome to Mad Money.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, so when I spent time out there at GTC with our crew, we spoke to Jensen extensively, and he brought you up many times. One of the things he did say was, if I were to start from nothing, I would do it the way Recursion does it. What does that mean?
Well, you know, today, 90% of drugs that go into clinical trials fail. And the reason is because biology is so complex. And so what we've built is an unbiased platform.
Now explain that. People are going to say, what is that, bias against certain people or race or whatever?
No, not at all. We want to make sure that we are letting the data drive our decisions as opposed to us making the decisions. So we've got a room just like this trading floor, full of robots that are doing the equivalent of my PhD every 15 minutes, generating petabytes of data, and then we're using ML and AI tools to look through all of that data to find new relationships across biology and chemistry that we can try and turn into medicines, especially for diseases that nobody else is working on.
Okay, so are there some diseases that might, if you use the old way, might take 20 years of your life, and instead you might be able to do in, say, 20 months?
Maybe. I think with clinical trials, there's still going to be a few years to get through the clinical trial space. But to find the drug and get it into the clinic, I think we can shorten that from 5 or 6 years and hundreds of millions of dollars into perhaps 1 or 2 years and just 10 or 20 million dollars.
Oh, that's great, because drug companies have stopped taking you on hard missions because they know that 90% failure, and they don't want to lose money. So they don't take on the things that you and I both know have to be solved for families that just have a terrible situation. Why don't you give us 1 or 2 of the things that you're tackling that no one else was willing to go to because it's too expensive and too much failure?
I'll give you 2. So one is we're going after a rare disease called cerebral cavernous malformation, which you probably haven't heard of.
No.
This disease affects 6 times as many people in the United States as cystic fibrosis.
Really?
But nobody understands how the disease really works. And so until we took this approach to use this automated platform with ML and AI, nobody really had an idea of how to make a drug. And now we've got a drug that's almost done with its phase 2 trial. We'll be reading it out next quarter, which is an exciting catalyst.
Wow.
And this is the opportunity of the kind of approach. We look like what we think the biopharma industry is going to look like in 5 or 10 years.
And what's the other drug? You mentioned you talked to.
So another one is we're working with Roche Genentech, one of the largest companies in the space.
Fabulous company. We know that they have a good relationship.
They're fantastic, and we're going after all of neuroscience for a decade and 1 oncology indication. And in just 18 months from starting that partnership, we already found an exciting new opportunity in oncology, and I can't tell you a lot more about it, but it's a new, exciting potential drug that we're driving forward with our partners at Roche Genentech.
Now, neuroscience people have to understand, because I've done some work in the area, almost every drug company has given up. They just gave up because they don't understand the brain because it's too hard.
It's so hard. It's absolutely, I mean, it's littered with failures. Yes. But that's why we think this new approach of using technology to map biology, I mean, think of it as like Google Street View, driving around, taking pictures of everything. We have microscopes taking tens of millions of pictures of cells every week, and we're using a lot of the same AI algorithms to turn those images into mathematical representations of biology that we think could unlock some really exciting secrets.
Okay, now let me ask you, someone might say that sounds all well and good, but do they understand that it's not just about research? They got to produce something and make some money. They have about $300 million in the bank? This stuff costs a lot of money.
It does.
What are you going to do?
Well, that's exactly right. And so we have a whole bunch of partnerships that have the potential to bring us non-dilutive milestones, options, royalties. We think that's going to significantly defer some of our cash outlay. And then we also have the potential for new partnerships. We are talking to lots of companies, and we think in the near term we could announce some new partnerships that will further extend that runway.
Oh, very exciting.
These are great ways not only for us to subsidize our own platform that we're building, but for our team to learn from some of the best folks in the industry.
Okay, now let me just a shot in the dark here, but does Jensen ever come by?
Well, Jensen is incredible. We got to spend time with him at a big healthcare conference, JP Morgan, in January.
Sure.
He co-hosted an event with us. And our chairman was on stage with him for 45 minutes talking about biology. And what I found fascinating, Jim, Jensen was more fluent in biology than really any biopharma CEO is fluent in technology. And don't underestimate that guy. Right?
No, never. Oh, no, a lot of people have lost some money underestimating that man. Now, how about you? Do you want this to be a major pharmaceutical company, or you want to be a major research company that works with pharmaceutical companies?
You know, we wanted to be a major research company when we started.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, one of our pivots have been that it feels like the industry's still moving pretty slowly. And
Yes,
there's more
is.
and more opportunity for us to verticalize. And so unless the industry starts picking up its pace, you could see us start to become a more fully integrated biopharma company over the next decade.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking younger people, like your kids who are here, younger people need to own a stock like this, because this is a long-term fantastic idea that could revolutionize the whole industry.
We're in this for our career. The next 10 or 20 years, we're going to be building this.
Oh, I believe you are. That's Dr. Chris Gibson. He's the co-founder and CEO of Recursion Pharma. Now, the symbol is RXRX. I'm going to say it one more time. It is speculative. None of us would disagree, but that doesn't mean it can't be owned. Mad Money's back in. Right.
When we return, master the markets one stock at a time. The lightning round is up next. Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.